Learn how to wrap a classic browser timer inside a promise object to manage delay operations clearly. In this example, you are going to see a change after 3 seconds. You can see this page changed after 3 seconds and display a simple text. So let's move on and build this together. So here is my boilerplate code. And in my HTML part, I only added this p tag, which corresponds to what you can see here on the screen. Aside from that, I think I want to take this out as well so that we'll create it from scratch. So we have this. So let's go ahead and make this. In the script tag, I've added few comments as a guide on what we are going to return in this example. This first one says call a promise constructor to create a promise. The other one says add just their method to the promise. And lastly, display the results. Now, let's go ahead and do just that. So I'm going to first call a promise constructor to create a promise. So let me call that and name it my promise. So that's going to be equals to new promise. This is the promise constructor. And inside it, I'll pass a function that takes in resolve and reject. So now that I have this, I can pass a SetTimeout as a function. Now I set timeout, call SetTimeout. SetTimeout itself is a method. So, and inside it, pass a function resolved and once I do this, I want to close it. And then I want to add a timer that after 3000 milliseconds, which is equivalent to 3 seconds, I want this to fire. Then I'll close this here. Close this as well. Then outside of this, I can just call my promise and then add a delta method. Then function value. And inside it, let me output the result. Document.getElement by id and value. Now, after 3 seconds, let's see what happens. You can see the text I love you on the screen. So this new promise is created as a promise constructor, which automatically kick off the code inside it. So this is what will trigger this code that we have inside this promise constructor after 3 seconds. So a standard set timeout begin counting down 3000 milliseconds, which is what we set here. And then when that 3 seconds expire, then this inner function will run, which is what we have here, and execute to resolve and display the text, I love you. This dot then is the consumer. It's listening. So the moment the result is called, it wakes up, grab the string value and print it via the DOM. And voila, you see this I love you text on the screen. So with what we just did now, you can see that if you look closely at what we just did now, by wrapping this timer inside promises, we just graduated from writing simple scripts to building production grade asynchronous pipeline that are clean, predictable, and scalable, in the sense that without the promise method of working with set timeout, so we'll probably use the other way of async call that it should run in the background, and after the running has completed, we should then display results to us. That exactly is not the approach that we took here. Instead of that, we just pass that method and then it waits for the resolve part of the promise to run. So once it executes, then the dot then that is on hold, we just grab the value and then via the DOM, it will display the result. Now, if you look closely at where we have this part, set timeout, function, resolve, I love you. Now, this is not where we are displaying the text here. So we are just passing up the data up to the promised consumer. This is the part where we are passing this post to. So this is the promise manager. This is the .dem method. So this one is the one doing the heavy lifting of updating our HTML, because you can see that we have the section to print the value inside it. So this separates the clock watching logic from the UI updating the logic perfectly. So we have two logic in this code. One is handling the clock watching, which is this part. After 3 seconds, it's displayed. And this now will update it after 3 seconds. So I'll go ahead and refresh this page so you understand it again. So this part is executing the logic, and then this one is responsible for updating the UI. Now, you might want to ask that, why do we need a function inside set timeout and a function inside the promise? Well, it looks like double work. What I'm talking about is there's a function here, and there's also a function for the set timeout. Now, it looks like, why can't we just omit this function and pass in this resolve thing directly? Well, the promise function, which we have here, is responsible for setting up the determinant for, either success or failure of the promise. Why this other one, which is this function here, is simply the alarm clock that tell the promise when to execute that success. So this one is monitoring and watching for either success or failure. Why this one is responsible for the timer. So once this runs, if it is successful, then this picks it, updates the UI, and display the value on the screen.